One of the very few fragrances from the house of Etat Libre that is for women, at least from what I can observe after checking out this 20 fragrance discovery set, which I highly recommend, not necessarily for the quality, but for the experience. Probably one of the cheapest discovery sets you can get from a niche brand that, it's a good time, but they normally have mostly unisex fragrances. This one's going to be for my ladies. So ladies, strap up. We're looking out for you. All right, welcome to Scent Bubble. I am your host for the day. Wow, I don't say that too often. From the house, we have a fragrance called, must be a collaboration or something. I'll look into that. Tilda Swinton, Like This. It just says like this, but on Fragrantica, it says Tilda Swinton. Maybe a collab. 3.94 out of 5. So I round that up. I can comfortably call that a 4 out of 5. It's a gotta get your nose on it. If I say gotta get your nose on it, that just means it's worthy of your trying it out. You know, in my category, I haven't said this in a while. To me, a 4.2 or higher is mass appeal score. Most people will like it or love it. If it's around the 4 out of 5 mark, it's enough people like it to warrant you not wasting your time trying it. So it's all volatile. Everybody's got a different nose and all that, but we're playing off of probability and odds so that you can make better decisions. So from that score, I can comfortably say probably out of most of the fragrances from this house, ladies, if you want to know a starting point, this will probably be it based off of its score because it's a 4 out of 5 from 4,200 votes. So the sample size is substantial as well. But anyways, so 4 out of 5, 4,200 votes, probably one of the most reviewed and rated from the set, at least in the top 5 so far from what I've had. It is a 2010 release, so it has been out for 16 years. And yes, it's not unisex. It is for women, classified as a floral women's fragrance. Okay, without further ado, ladies, let's look out for y'all. Get a man's perspective on this stuff. I know most of y'all ladies don't care, but listen, we have women on this channel that, you know, they don't talk much, but they're there. They have children, they have friends. Some of them are in college, some of them are retired, and they do get value out of modern reviews of fragrances. Now, I'm not going to be the TikTok guy that's going to go and try every Valentino, Donna, and, you know, every Billie Eilish and stuff like that. I'm going to try, and thankfully I'm getting into more connections and resources these days where I can actually acquire that stuff almost for free all day long. So I'm going to try to look out for the women as much as possible just to I kind of started thinking through this. It's not really to look at a man's opinion about a fragrance as to whether or not you'll buy it, but it's about getting a modern current review from somebody who will speak objectively about the qualities of the scent so that you can get further along in your buying experience. And in that regard, it doesn't matter whether you're male or female, I'm qualified to do that job for sure. Now, in terms of whether or not you should buy the scent based off my taste, that's completely subjective and a bit of a dice roll, but this channel is about information, and sometimes people just like the way I talk about fragrances. So I respect that, respect the heck out of it, and I invite all women of all ages, all backgrounds, all stages of your fragrance journey. I put consideration into you ladies, so much so that I accumulate a lot of fragrances I wouldn't normally have on my shelf to review, understand the female fragrance space, because I also think that the women's content space is more well represented because more women have different personalities and styles and all that. But I also find that the male's perspective is quite different on these scents, and a lot of women present their content in a way where they're trying to go viral instead of be informative. So women are getting value from this. We're going to keep doing it. So this is Like This floral fragrance for women. I did not have a test strip, so it's just sitting on my hand right now. In the air, it doesn't feel too special, I'm going to be honest with you. But I'm going to sit with it for a second. Matter of fact, let me just re-spritz. This house is quirky, ladies. You know, I don't think this house overall is a good starting point for a woman to navigate, because this house overall just feels very artistic, odd, and skillful at the same time. So unless you're a quirky girl who wears fragrances that most people would never heard of and stuff like that, this won't be in your journey anytime soon, this house. But if you're into different stuff, or you're not from the States, so you have different smell, cultural appreciations and stuff like that, they are a quality brand. They just don't have a lot of hits because they're too experimental. You know, these are more art pieces. Nonetheless, for the one woman in the world looking at this fragrance, considering to buy it, let's give that person some help. So, initial impression is I'm getting almost a, I don't know, like a super musky, kind of slightly synthetic green plantish vibe. Or even like aloe vera or something. Like you slice the aloe vera plant and open it up, and it's just kind of almost this clean, slightly sweet green air, but it's like super, it's more about the air. Yeah, it's almost even piney at times. Like there's a sour greenness to the green plant style, you know, almost like there's certain plants where if you rub them on your skin and smell them, they got that kind of tart, sharp green thing going. There's like that and aloe vera kind of smells. I really am kind of at a loss for words for this scent. It's odd, for sure. I want to see what the story is on it. I have always located my favorite fragrances at the doorways of kitchens, in the heart of a greenhouse, at the bottom of a garden. Scent means a place to me. A place and state of mind, even a state of grace. Certainly a state of ease. My favorite smells are of home, the experience of reliable, recognizable after the exotic adventure, the regular, natural turn of the seasons, blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just trying to read, like... I don't think it's helpful to read that to you guys. But I do think it's helpful to look at this. Pumpkin, immortelle, ginger, tangerine, heliotrope, musk, vetiver, neroli, and rose. I mean, not for nothing, this looks great. I mean, minus the pumpkin. Like, I love all these notes individually. Seeing them all together here is a bit weird. Like visually it looks cool, but as a scent, I don't know. This really does smell like you threw all that in a blender, and it's like, dude, you should have ate the ginger separately. You should have had the tangerine separately. You should have you know, but when you put all this together, it's just blah, you know. This scent is very like I said, it's like aloe vera drops, you know, that chewy stuff you can put in like drinks and stuff. It's like that with some very sharp, tart kind of green facets. Like it's like I'm gonna name 3 items. This is green leaf, water droplets, and tangerine, but it's mostly like 80-90% water droplets. It's just an odd smell. I'm sorry, ladies. I wish I could describe this better, but this is an odd smell, and I don't think this is very helpful at all. Can we show the votes? This is kind of the hierarchy. If you look on Fragrantica, it says what people can actually smell. More people smell this gingery immortelle thing going on. I know what pumpkin smells like, and I'm going to be real with you. This is a phantom note. This is not real. And I know for frag heads, it's like, well, SB, obviously, you idiot. But no, for real, like even as an accord, I do not smell pumpkin at all. Now, ginger immortelle tangerine, I get that heavily. It kind of just comes off as this very like, I mean, it's immortelle and ginger heavy with like a water droplet splash of tangerine and heliotrope. It's pretty musky too. I don't know how I feel about this. It's weird. I mean, I think it might be doing something with my skin chemistry, but it is odd. It wears like a EDT, EDP kind of style, like super moderate. I can't imagine somebody having more than like 2 feet of projection. 1 foot is barely, minimal sillage. It's more of like an aromatic projection. Let me get my usual suspects real quick here and wrap up. Ladies, I hate when I'm not very helpful to you guys, but I think if to put your head in, because I can't describe everything, guys. I don't know every scent. I know a lot of scents, and you guys know I do this every single day, but sometimes stuff is just so peculiar, I don't even know how to be helpful. Here's what I can say. The fragrance feels a lot like the Atelier colognes, these very light, almost like female splashes. But if you've never smelled Immortelle, it's very, it's got a like a herbal aromatic air to it. And I know everybody experiences it a little bit differently, but there's an Immortelle based Atelier cologne that I would highly recommend over this, because the Immortelle and ginger as a concept is very much like herbal aromatic aromatherapeutic vibes. But the tangerine is almost tangying it up to simulate like body funk. Like how your deodorant smells really good and then it like turns. You're like, dang, man, I smelled fresh this morning. Now it's kind of musty. It's a musty, slightly musty Immortelle ginger air. And it's a cool concept, but the tangerine here actually isn't being accentuated as like giving like a fruity personality lift to the Immortelle. It's kind of making it stink, kind of funky. It's like almost like chlorine in the water kind of funk, It's like this odd, like, what the heck is that? I'm not a fan of this. I think it's easily a 6. Like it's a concept that if somebody showed it to me, I would say like, oh, okay, well, listen, man, the idea is there, but like you got to go back and really refine this. This isn't a B, this isn't an A. This is like just, it's good enough not to erase, but we got to work on this. Let's see it in a different light. Yeah, this just has an odd, maybe it's just my skin, but it's just doing something weird on my skin that just feels incomplete and very too quirky. Can I pull up the notes that you? Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's a spring summer lighter EDT kind of wear. It's dainty, but it's got a good personality to it. It's a punchy EDT in my eyes. Seasons, occasions, I think spring summer, cool breeze, anything under 75. Age, it feels north of 25 or 30 for women. It's not a men's fragrance. You have to be artistic. You have to be quirky. You have to like non-typical stuff to even remotely like this. Sprays, I'm going on a fragrance like this. I want air going through it constantly because it's just a bit odd for my taste. I would put like 3-4 sprays on, and if I had to reapply later, I would. But air needs to waft through this to kind of diffuse some of that oddness. I think the pumpkin might be what's throwing it off for me. The pumpkin and the tangerine are making this weird fruity backbone that's not really that fruity. It's like savory. I don't know. Price point on these fragrances is like 200-ish, close to 200. So definitely not worth that money at all to me. But I mean, not for nothing. Let's say this, guys. One thing I have to say is at the beginning of this review, I told you guys this got a 3.94 out of 5 out of 4,200 votes. So most people think it's worthy of smelling, but part of me, let's go back to this window here. Part of me really feels like the marketing is deceptive here, because to my nose, it is not that sweet. It is very herbal, and it's not that citric. I'm getting like a fresh, musky herbal fragrance with a splash of savory sweetness. But more importantly, like anytime you see a fragrance where it has a note that you're like, wait, what? Pumpkins in a fragrance? A lot of that becomes marketing where just that alone will get a lot of people to buy it. But I'm telling you guys, this is not, if you trust my nose at all, this 3.94 is like, to me, a marketing score. Like a lot of people bought it and were like, meh, you know, or they were just anticipating the smell of pumpkin and were like, wow, a pumpkin in a fragrance and it's not terrible. No, it's not that good though. I give it a 6. Yeah, I don't want to drag the review on too much more. I can't even believe I've been doing a 15-minute review for this fragrance. It's not all that. You don't need to get your nose on it. But if you're quirky, the brand does have balance and all that, but the character and oddballness, you really got to be a bold individual, and women in this case, to really try something like this. If you like immortelle, you like fresh scents, but you want them still a little bit quirky and odd, definitely get your nose on this. It is worthy of that score-wise, despite how I feel. But I think the Atelier Cologne series for women is a much safer going into if you want like a pure herbal, a pure aromatherapeutic, a pure citrus, a pure singular kind of eau de toilette that feels light, fresh, and crisp and feels more naturesque without being weird. Like, comment, subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell. Talk to me. I do talk back. Again, this was Etat Libre's Tilda Swinton like this. Odd name. And I don't think it's all that. Make sure that you guys sound off in the comment section if you got value from this or any questions that you might have. Join the free Discord where we're getting it popping and sharing each other's journey and giving everybody tons of value. And I got to go, but feel free to stick around and watch any of these 2 videos up on the screen here based off what you've been searching for. If you're into fragrance at any level, any age, any color, any preference, any price point, this is the place that's talking about it. So feel free to stick around, and I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your week.